So another question that is very interesting for many people everywhere, in the West in particular, but also in India. Indian people also now don't really remember their own tradition, and is something that is very closely connected with almost all the systems of Indian philosophy, except Mimamsa, I believe, is that the idea of moksha, liberation. So all systems are after seeking liberation. And the Sanskrit term that is very closely connected to moksha is samadhi. Samadhi. It is found in Yoga Sutras, in Advaita Vedanta, in Shaivism, in Kashmir Shaivism, in many other systems as far as I know. So if you can tell us, and I think Patanjali has dealt very extensively with this particular subject in his Yoga Sutras. If you can tell us a little bit about it.
Yes.
The idea of moksha and samadhi.
First of all, Patanjali says that the final stage of yoga is samadhi. Yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. These are the 8 limbs or angas of yoga, as he says. And therefore, the main goal of yoga is samadhi. Actually, in Vyasa's commentary on Patanjali, in the very first sutra itself, Vyasa says, yoga samadhi.
Yeah.
Yoga mainly means samadhi, and all the other things that we have mentioned, they are only steps towards it. And so, really meaning samadhi. Because samadhi is the union of the individual soul with the universal soul. Sanyogo yoga ityukto jivatma paramatma. Jivatma means the individual soul, and paramatma is the universal soul. Just like every water in the world, it is flowing towards the ocean, from where it came. Whether a drop of water came from the ocean and it wants to go back there. Similarly, all types of sentient things, what we call Atman, consciousness, that sprang from one source, and towards that it has to go. And for that, it has to be cleansed from various kinds of dirts that have accumulated there. For that purpose,
Accumulated where?
in oneself.
Chitta, no?
Yeah, that is, we think that every Atman, every Purusha is associated with Buddhi, Antakarana, Chitta, Manas, these 4 things. And also the 5 sense organs, 5 motor organs, like this. 5 pranas, so this is called Shodashaka, the group of 16. And
these 5 pranas come in the context of Advaita Vedanta, but not in Yoga Sutras.
But here also this comes from Sankhya, and the Sankhya say Ganascha Shodashaka, the group of 16, like that. You see, Patanjali.
But in group 16 it doesn't come 5 pranas, no? Do they?
Yeah, you see, 5 Jnanendriyas, 5 Karmendriyas, and 5 pranas, plus Manas. Oh yes, sometimes it is Tanmatras, in that sense. So, this group of 16 is associated with every Purusha.
Yes.
And in order to cleanse all the karmans, kleshas, etc. that are with the person, because it is supposed that it is anadi. We cannot say when these things started.
The malas,
Yeah, when the kleshas started, as a result of kleshas, we have all the kleshas, karmans, and the karmans give birth to kleshas, new kleshas. That cycle is there. When it began, we cannot say. It is accepted anadi. Just like
Beginning,
whether the egg came first or the bird came first. Just as we cannot say which came first. But just because we cannot say that in the world there are no eggs and there are no birds. We have to accept their existence because it is there. So we have these things, kleshas and karmas are there. To cleanse these things, the method of yoga has been taught. And there, the samadhi is the highest state. And according to Patanjali, this samadhi is of two conditions. The first one is called samprajnata samadhi. The second one is called asamprajnata samadhi. The same samprajnata samadhi is also called sabija samadhi, and the asamprajnata samadhi is called nirbija samadhi. It may also be called savikalpa and nirvikalpa samadhi. By these different names, these two kinds of samadhis have been described. The main thing is that the previous sangha of yoga, that is dhyana, dhyana samadhi. Dhyana is meditation. That meditation itself, when it becomes the most intense, it becomes samadhi. Tadeva, you see, the Patanjali says, Tadeva arthamatra nirbhasam swarupa shunyameva samadhi. That is how he defines it. When it is dhyana, when it is meditation, there are three elements. The person who is the aspirant, who is doing the dhyana, and the object of dhyana on which he is concentrating the mind, and the meditation that is connecting them. These three things are there. Meditator, meditation, and the object of meditation. When one rises to a very higher level, this triputi, these three parts, they all dissolve and become only the object.
When one arises, one of the three elements.
These three become one. Only the object remains. Tadeva artha matra nirbhasam. Jnana itself shines only as the object. Swarupa shunyamiva. As if the person has lost his individual condition. That individuality has lost. He is completely absorbed in the object itself, and that state is called samadhi. And that samadhi is not permanent. When it becomes permanent, when even the idea of getting that samadhi, gaining from that something else, etc., all those things are completely washed out. It becomes nirbija samadhi.
So the first one is sabija.
Yes. The samprajnata samadhi itself is called sabija samadhi. Bija means seed.
See.
So that seed still remains, and so it is called Sabija Samadhi.
That means, if I understand correctly, that means that the bija here, that the impressions are still there, they are alive in the form of the seeds, right? Not
Yes.
completely matured.
Yeah, that is, he can come back.
Yeah.
He can see. Patanjali calls these two conditions as Vyuthana and Samadhi.
In Bhutan.
Vyuthana means when we are in this world,
Ordinary activity.
ordinary activities, we are in this world, and Samadhi is a higher state. A person who has reached this Sabija Samadhi, still that Bija remains, and therefore he can come to the Vyuthana again. That is how we say that Patanjali wrote the Yoga Sutras, or he gave them to this world. Because if one reaches the Nirbija Samadhi itself, then he does not come back here, he is not he has nothing to do with this world. Even these feelings of compassion, see, on account of compassion for the humanity, he gave the Yoga Sutras, he explained that. But even the feelings of compassion or any kind of raga, dvesha, etc., everything completely diminishes. It becomes non-existent at the higher stage. So,
Because it's a dualism, no?
yeah, he thinks that there are so many other people, he has to help them, etc. This duality is there. At that time, he can help the world by writing the sutras, etc. Patanjali actually calls it by the name Dharma Megha Samadhi. He uses the word Dharma Megha Samadhi. Megha means a cloud. Just as a cloud is there and it showers the water to the world without expecting anything for itself. It is only for the good of the world that the cloud showers this water. Similarly, all the dharma, all the universal law that helps a human being to rise to a higher state of existence, that is showered by such a yogi. When he still has these feelings of compassion for the world, just as Buddha had compassion. Like that, in that condition, it is called Dharma Megha Samadhi. And so, that type of Samadhi is the goal of yoga. And Patanjali also cautions every aspirant that by the practice of yoga, it is possible to gain, acquire various kinds of powers.
Siddhis.
Siddhis like Vibhuti, because Vibhuti Pada. But all these Vibhutis are Samadhav Upasargaha. They are impediments, they are obstacles to Samadhi.
And why are they obstacles?
Because if one goes after them, he will be diverted from the main goal. He tries to influence the people. He thinks that he is greater than others. All such feelings are against kaivalya. All these things have to be thrown away.
Discarded.
That is the discarded. And therefore, these siddhis, so-called siddhis, even though anima, mahima, etc., these vibhutis have been described, it is possible to acquire them, but they are not desirable because the main goal is kaivalya and not fame or becoming popular among the people, being worshipped by them. All such attractions come while one is going to kaivalya and one has to resist them. That is how Patanjali explains them. And in this condition, for this, actually how from the state of dhyana one can pass to what is called samadhi, the sabrajnata samadhi. That also has been explained by Patanjali in the first chapter, which is called Samadhi Pada. There he is telling us that there are 4 stages: Vitarka, Vichara, Ananda and Asmita. These are the 4 stages which are called Samapatti. Samapatti is transformation. A transformation of the mind is necessary to go to those higher states, and there, even in the Vitarka and Vichara, there are 2 internal divisions: Savitarka, Nirvitarka, Savichara, Nirvichara, etc. This is because in the state of things of the human being, it is not possible for the aspirant to go to a higher step before going through the lower step. Just as algebra cannot be taught if a person does not know any arithmetic. Algebra, A into A square, they are all abstract. But for that purpose, a person should know the arithmetic. See, 2 squared means 2 into 2, that is 4. 4 squared means 4 into 4, 16. When you have understood these things, then it is possible to teach him the abstract things. If you have to go to the subtle, you have to go through the gross. And therefore, even in the case of this dhyana, first one should have an object which is solid, which is gross. Through that, one has to go to a subtle object. If I have to...
This is Vichara and Vitarka.
Yes, yes. As long as it is an external object, solid object, it is called Vitarka. And in the Vitarka also, suppose I have taken Jesus Christ as the object of my meditation. I connect him to various other things. His name, his place of birth, his forum, etc. These things. Without that, it is not possible for the human intellect, human mind to grasp it. First, through those things only, one has to get it. And from there, completely taking away all these unnecessary things that are there, but only the object, that is called Nirvitarka. And from there, one passes to a higher stage called Vichara, where the object is not a gross object but a subtle object. For instance, I understand Jesus Christ as love for the whole human being, whole humanity.
That would be Vichara.
Yes, Vichara. There also, all the other things being completely cut off. When it is pure, unlimited by time and place, etc., only for our people, only for our religion, etc., these things, then it becomes Nirvichara. From there, one goes to Ananda, Sananda kind of Samadhi. In that Sananda Samadhi, there all these things are gone, everything has changed into pure bliss. That is Sananda. And that goes to Sasmita, where pure existence is understood.
And what happens to Ananda at that stage?
The Ananda transforms itself into pure existence. One goes into the higher state.
Ananda is dissolved.
Ananda becomes Asmita.
Asmita.
That pure existence in that, what would you call Sat Chit Ananda, you know, that Sat is existence. To that it goes. And so, these are the 6 steps that are found in what we call the Samprajnata Samadhi, Sabija Samadhi. Tasyapi Nirodhe, that even when those things are, everything is dissolved and becomes pure, completely pureness, then when Purusha is Purusha and nothing else. Kevala means one who is completely aloof from everything else.
Isolation.
He is isolated, he is only one, nothing else is there. In that condition, when he is reached, it is called Nirbija Samadhi. After one has reached that Nirbija Samadhi, he becomes Kevala, he gets kaivalya.
If I may ask, so now when he comes out of that samadhi into Vyudhana, the samadhi remains with him, or?
Samadhi is a state. He is in that state.
That is the 4th state.
Yeah, see, the Samprajnata Samadhi is there. That is the 8th state of yoga.
Yes. My question is, when he comes out of samadhi goes into, can he go back to Vyudhana?
Yes, he goes back to Vyudhana as long as he is in the Sabija Samadhi. Those bijas, those seeds are there.
I see.
And therefore
so once when he is in Nirbija, he cannot come back to
No, he goes to Kaivalya only.
How is that integrated with activity? How is that Nirbija Samadhi integrated with activity? Because he wakes up, he goes up, he moves around.
Well, it is accepted, of course, in Vyasa Bhashya, in the commentary of Vyasa. The idea of Jivan Mukti is said. When one has reached Nirvikalpata Samadhi, he is Jivan Mukta. For all practical purpose, he is a liberated soul. Just as when we switch off a fan, on account of the momentum, for a few seconds it will be still turning. Like that, after he has reached the Nirbija Samadhi, he may live in this world for some time, but whatever he does not matter. No question of karma, all the karmas have been buried for him. The body continues only on account of the prarabdha, that which has begun, and therefore on account of that moment it may continue for some time. But it may end up anywhere. It may fall down on the ground, it may fall into the water, it may fall into fire, it doesn't care.
That is clear, but my question, he still has to be active. He still has to go out and eat.
Because the body is there.
Body is there.
It is said by Patanjali that in order to exhaust that prarabdha karma, he may even create other minds, etc.
I see.
That is called Nirmana Chitta. That word he uses. So when Nirmana Chitta is created, with those things, with the different chittas, etc., he experiences all the results of that prarabdha karma and finishes them as early as possible, and then throws away the body in the world. All his gifts from Prakriti, all the gifts he had received from Prakriti, they will return to them. His mind, his buddhi, his antakarana, all these things, his indriyas, they disintegrate and go back into Prakriti.
There is one more important term, I think, and in various Indian systems of Indian thought, it is understood in a different way. For example, in Shaivism, the word Pratibha in Pratibha has its own meaning. Abhinavagupta in chapter 13 of the Tantra Loka goes into eulogy of Pratibha and many, many shlokas. Also in Bhartahari gives these beautiful examples of what actually Pratibha is. Now what Pratibha, how does Patanjali understand Pratibha?
Patanjali has used the word Pratibha, that it comes from Pratibha.
No, the longa, Pratibha.
Pratibha. Derivation.
Derivation, yes, exactly.
So,
Taraka Jnana, no?
yes, the jnana that one has, it is that taraka means that which helps you in crossing, in helping you to swim, that is taraka. So, in the pratibha jnana, on account of the previous experiences, etc., that jnana comes to the highest aspirant, one who has worked properly, and on account of that pratibha jnana, it is possible for him to understand everything in this world. At that time, if one has that pratibha jnana, then there is no limit to it.
It's more like it is like a sarvajnatratva.
Yes, sarvajnatratva, yes, because it is in the sense practically,
Omniscience.
if a mirror is there, the mirror can reflect everything that is in front of it. There is no limitation to it. Similarly, that pratibha jnana is possible to conceive, to understand everything, to comprehend everything in this world. That type of jnana arises, it is said.
And it arises just before Viveka Khyati. No?
The final Viveka Khyati, when it is had, then everything is...
Even that stops, even Pratibha.
Pratibha jnana. You see, the idea is that tatra api akusidasya, that is what he says. He uses the word kusida. Kusida actually means living on interest.
Yes.
Kusidam vruddhi jeeva.
Yes, I know that word from the beginning of Panchatantra.
And therefore, a person becomes disinterested even in sarvajnatva. In everything is away. And therefore, at that time, the kaivalya occurs. He is the kevala purusha, and thus he goes there. And so, if we look at our starting point, the samadhi is the state in which all these special powers, special knowledge, etc., all these things occur. But as a result of that knowledge, one becomes disinterested in everything.
So is Viveka Khyati, is this knowledge? Is it a type of
Yes,
knowledge?
Viveka is discriminatory knowledge. That Viveka means the knowledge that I am pure consciousness and everything associated with me now, whether it is my body, sthula sharira, or the sukshma sharira, these indriyas, buddhi, etc. All these things are different from me. I am thinking that I am suffering only because
I think I am an actor.
the things that are happening in the buddhi are reflected in me, just like a blue flower is reflected in a mirror. Actually, the mirror has not become blue.
Yeah, but even that knowledge has to dissolve.
Yeah, see that. After understanding it, all this is unnecessary. This is not me. Comes, and so everything goes away. He is pure Purusha. The only difference I see between the Pratyabhijna Darshana and the yoga system in the yoga system, Patanjali is not saying that the individual soul itself is Ishvara. Ishvara is different from the individual soul. And he is a pluralist, that there are infinite number of Jivatmans.
Shaivism also accepts that.
And only thing is that
So can we say that in the mirror of Buddhi, where object reflect from outside on that mirror, and they create chittavritti, and then light of the Purusha also reflects on the mirror of the Buddhi, and this chittavritti, the Purusha identifies with these chittavrittis, and when these chittavrittis calm down, then only that light of Purusha shines perfectly clearly on you.
Yeah, you see, the thing is, Buddhi is supposed to be best type of sattva. From the sattva guna.
Because it is the first manifestation.
Yeah, so it is pure sattva only, and therefore it has such clarity, cleanliness. Purusha is reflected in the Buddhi, and Buddhi is reflected in the Purusha. Buddhi is the nearest thing to the Purusha. And therefore, just as the Purusha thinks or feels that he is suffering on account of the changes in the Buddhi, which is affected by the Rajas and Tamas. In the same way, the Buddhi is also under the wrong impression that it is the consciousness.
Yes.
The Buddhi thinks that that itself is Purusha.
Right.
That is why in various systems of knowledge, including the modern science, etc., many people say Atman means only the Buddhi, nothing else.
Yes.
On account of the reflection of the Purusha in the Buddhi is also under the delusion that it is the consciousness that itself is
and the Purusha is under the illusion that it is active.
Yeah.
Because of
even though he is completely nirlepa, as we call it.
inactive.
Inactive, he is Sankhya Purusha, like that.
But there is a